welcome to another episode of In and Around Abington. My name is Alex Bezanson, and I'm your host. We do this weekly program so that we can highlight events, people, nonprofits, and anything that might be of interest to people in and around Abington. If you have an idea for a show or would like to be a guest on this show, you can contact me via email at alexbezanson@yahoo.com. Today's guest is Jack Bailey. Jack is a model citizen in Abington. Many may know him as the owner of Eddie Bailey's Garage for years, or selling Christmas trees for the Boy Scouts, or collecting returnable cans and bottles for the music parents, I believe. Jack's wife, Kathy, was a longtime member of the school committee. The Bailey family is very well known and very well respected in town of Abington, and I'm thrilled to have Jack with us today. So welcome, Jack.
Thank you very much for having me.
First of all, Jack, why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about you, your family, and how long you've been in Abington?
I grew up in Abington. I was the fourth of five in the family. One of my sisters is Ann Riley. My other sister in town is Bobby Franey. I have another sister, Kathy, who happens to live in Woburn. Very involved in helping out around town over the years. Has helped me in the parade. Matter of fact, she will be here walking in the parade, helping out as a parade marshal. And I have a deceased brother, Jimmy. My father and mother were very involved in the town. My father is a volunteer fireman, part of the Lions Club, the Rotary Club, etc. And he was one of the founders of the Knights of Columbus at Abington. I guess it all came from learning from what they did, not knowing that we were. And of course, everybody knows what my sister Ann Riley and Jack Riley did over the many, many years. So I haven't reached that level, but I'm trying for it. And
you're getting there.
Well,
you're getting there.
I will never reach it, but I know that good things do when you volunteer. So.
Well, Abington's a great town for volunteerism. We have a lot of people that get involved in things like your parade and our Hug Foundation and the Coombs Foundation, Vasilian. We have a lot of good people in Abington, and everybody is there whenever we need them. So that's very much appreciated. So I wanted to have Jack on the show today because we have the St. Patrick's Day Parade coming up next week. And this will be the 40th year that you've done the St. Patrick's Day Parade. First of all, why don't you tell the viewers how it got started? I know the story, and it's a very entertaining story. So why don't you tell us?
I had a young man that worked for me, and he was very gullible. So for a $10 bet, I bet him that would be a parade on St. Patrick's Day 40 years ago. Well, one thing led to another, and Coffee Break always brought up the parade, and the guys were for it. Well, my birthday happens to be 2 weeks before St. Patrick's Day. My father and his friends came back from the KSE after setting up from bingo and celebrated my birthday at the garage after hours. And one thing led to another. My father and his friends baited poor Tommy about this bet and this parade, and it was going on. And Tommy still didn't believe us. My father told him to ask other people, and some didn't know about it. Some said they had heard rumors. The next day, people came in, said, "Where do I sign up?" Go see the bookkeeper, Ray Ahern, and things were starting off. And the deal was all I was going to do was take my 5 trucks out the door, around the block, and come back. They would be all decorated with signs, and I would win my $10. But it would cost a little bit more for me to do it. But it was a proof that the Irish was going to make it. Well, the next thing you know, Eddie Murphy, the police chief, comes in. I ask him. He says, "Just ask me," which I did. He walks out the door. He comes back in words. He says, "Can I be Grand Marshal?" "Yes, you can be Grand Marshal," because we had no idea what we were doing. So the week went on, and he started to talk around town as Eddie Murphy could do, and it reached the newspapers, and we were very lucky that we had representatives in town. They put it in the newspaper, things happened. The following week, we're into Friday, and Murphy comes to me and says, "We need a permit." "No, you told me I just had to ask you." So he ran up to the town hall, he got the permit, then he had to go to all the Board of Selectmen's houses and get a sign off for the parade to start. So the first parade 40 years ago was on a Monday. It was 60-something degrees. And at 11:30 in the morning, people are watching across the street, decorating their cars. These were neighborhood groups. These were businesses. There were tractor trailers showing up. There were buses showing up, etc.
Now, let me just say, that was before Facebook. That was
Oh,
before
yeah.
email.
Oh, yeah.
So all these people knew about it, and that was before social media.
Absolutely. And I mean, it was just something else. Neighborhoods would get together and put vehicles in trying to have fun.
Yeah.
In the first parade, as it was written in the newspaper, said there was over 50-something vehicles in the parade. A lot of people tell me 3 or 4, and I say, nah, it's written down. We do have a published pamphlet about the first 24 years, and then the 25th, the 26th, etc. And so it is recorded, and it's not hearsay. So from there, it bursted on. When we reached 25, we decided we must go on a weekend because we never even thought we would be here. And so we had the parade. We tried it one more, the 26th parade, to have it on a weekday. It didn't seem to have as much pizzazz, so from that point on, we started doing Sunday parades from that point. So here we are today.
And this year, it just happens to be on St. Patrick's Day.
It happens to be exactly where it should be.
Right. So for the 40th, this is going to be a bigger parade?
Yes. Well, it'll be bigger because there'll be more music.
Okay.
I used to be the music parent president for Abington High School for 7 years in the 90s. And I learned an awful lot from Michael Smith about the parades and being set up and what was good about them and what wasn't so great, and the horses and the sirens and etc. So I learned an awful lot paying attention to the likes and dislikes of all the parade managers and directors. So from that point on, I tried to make it easier for the bands to come to Abington. So being a music lover as such, I try to put music on the street that is totally different so that it's not all one set. So I have 4 high school bands, and I have 4 bagpipe bands, and I have a drum corps, and I have a couple of union bands, and I have a fife and drum coming this year from Lexington.
It must be a little more difficult this year because it is on St. Patrick's Day to get the bands? So
Yes, it is. I did lose 2 bagpipe bands
yeah.
because they can do gigs closer to where they are. I had one band from southern New Hampshire Pipes and Drums, and I lost a bagpipe band called Brian Baru out of Falmouth, but both of them said, don't forget us next year.
Yeah.
But when I lost them, I still picked up 2 more.
Great, great.
So, you know, it just was luck.
So why don't you tell us some of the bands, the high school bands?
Yep, the high school bands will be Abington, Whitman Hanson, Silver Lake, and Pembroke.
Great.
Bagpipe bands will be, I had the list up in the other room, but it should be Sutherland, Highland Light, Brockton Fire for the first time has come back now after about 7 years. They lost some members, so they got too small. They didn't want to be on the street, but they love here. And there's one other band, I can't think of it right off the bat because it's one of the new ones.
Right.
We have a drum and bugle corps out of North Shore that's coming, North Star. And they have some local members from Abington, which have my contact people, which has helped me. And we have Cosmos Legion Band, which is a great veterans parade band. Some of the military love to march with them because they have the certain beat. I was told many years ago that it's best to put a bagpipe band up front because they will slow the parade down. Oh. If you put somebody else up front, like a high school band, they start to race and etc. So you slow them down because they have to breathe through the pipes and stuff. So you learn a little bit from here. You know, you say, hey, that works. And I watched a parade one year at the Veterans Day parade in Whitman, and it just flew. It was like on a speed march. And I said, what are they doing? You know, you're not going to see it. You're not going to hear it. It's, you know, but anyways.
How long do you think the parade will be this year?
It should be at least a good hour.
Really?
Yeah. Well, we've done an hour and a half on sometimes. The problem is the parade is so good in its way because of certain things that occur in the parade, the free giveaways that happen. There are some groups, youth groups especially in town, do not want to be a part of the parade because they would rather be on the side collecting, especially the candy, the hats, the whatever. So it's tough to get them involved. It's tough to get businesses because over the years, some of the businesses, the owners have retired or stepped back, and the next group is not quite involved to be there. To have people volunteer to be here on Sunday, their day off, that's a little bit tougher. So the numbers drop, and of course for me as the planner, I need numbers to put between the bands. Otherwise the bands are clashing.
Correct.
And they don't like that.
Right.
So I have to put so many numbers of walkers and trucks or floats or whatever. And floats are tough to get because we lost a few groups, nonprofits or businesses who don't do it anymore. And because of it, the judges keep on asking us, give us more floats. Well, we would if we could. You know, you can't buy floats. Okay. And so we do what we can. So we're doing pretty good. We should have numbers up, including the band, etc. We will have up over 65.
Wow, great.
The lead-off group, again, and we're happy to have them, is the Rockland Police Honor Guard. They are a sharp-looking group, and we will have a few Legion groups from Abington, as well as Post 20 out of Plymouth. And I think it's 40, excuse me. And they will be here with a contingent. So they're always good because they're pretty sharp. And they'll be, like I say, the bands will be different because there's 5 new ones. So people haven't seen them before.
Right.
There's going to be a unicyclist in there. We've never had one before, but he wants to come from Portland, Maine.
Wow,
okay.
Nice.
So,
nice.
You know.
So how big a committee do you have? That this must take a year of planning.
Well, a lot of the stuff is all done by emails.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier. Our numbers have dropped because of age, deaths, etc. over the years. We used to have 15 people. We're lucky now if we have an active group of about 8.
Really?
Yep. But we have a core group that handles the emails and answers the things, and the bands are very quick to respond to us to be here. We email the bands the night of the parade, and we will ask them, did you see anything we need to do? Did you see something that we need to correct or whatever? They'll all tell us it is the best parade they come to all year long. So that's the organization, the parking lots that I'm able to use,
right.
My parade marshals setting them up and making them feel real friendly, and especially the applause on the side of the road, because that's one of the things as performers they're looking for, and they see it and hear it. And for anybody going to a concert, you waiting for them to cheer, and hearing that, they love to be here. One guy did say to me, he's, Jack, you know, about 4 years ago it was 40 degrees. 3 years ago it was 35. Now it's 30. Can you do something about the weather? And I'll say this outright. I leave it to the politicians to take care of the temperature.
Well, it didn't work. Last year it was pretty cold, wasn't it? Was it last year?
Yes, yeah. It has been cold. Yeah. And some people, because
I walked in it last year. That was cold. Yeah.
I find out that day when it's coming out on the streets, people didn't show up. I have no idea that they weren't coming. No call, no email, no nothing. It's like, now this band's coming up behind the other one. It's like, wow, you know, but you can't. You just have to say, move them up, and
move it up,
and hopefully cable through Sean Riley is usually one of the commentators. He handles it, you know. He just goes right along the sheet and goes.
Who are the judges this year?
The judges will be Bob Kelly, who's been a veteran judge If I say 40 years, I'd say he's probably been around over 30.
Yeah.
He's the head judge. We have Terry Mays and her husband Paul. We have Kim and Jeff Phelps from Phelps Insurance Company because of their contact through Slattery. We have Karen DiMarzio, and we're waiting to find out about 2 other judges, which could be Dory and Mark Jameson.
Great.
And so they have their own rules and regulations. We, the committee, do not want to be involved with that. We don't want to set the rights and wrongs. It's up to them. I try to make sure there's at least 50% of the ladies on the judging because they look at things from artistic, where the guys look at things from, it's great motor or whatever, you know. And I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for best decorated. And the categories would be best cars, best trucks, best floats, best use of imagination, most spirited, and now we put one in last year, best entry by a student group.
Oh, great.
Trying to get the schools to donate, to be a part of it, you know. And last year, Beaverbrook won.
Very good.
Yep, so
it must be expensive to put this on, and you use all private donations?
yes, we receive no funds from the town. We do have a grant coming from the Arts Council of $1,000, which is very, very nice and appreciative. The rest of the funds we raise over the year, which will now this year will be over $24,000 because it is our 40th. Usually I've been hovering close to 22, and we have been very close to staying within the budget. We try not to overspend, even should somebody give us more. No, we hold the line. We don't know what next year will be. We don't know what the weather. We don't know whether we'll get the money. I collect bottles and cans at the garage, Bailey's Garage. Though I retired, I still own the property. My son is using it for his woodworking shop for his construction company. But I collect the bottles and cans out back and separate and do whatever. I started that when I was in the music parent program back in 1989 because supplement the after-school program, marching band, show choir, indoor color guard, indoor percussion. It was all good things for all the kids. It helped them to develop themselves, and it was a great thing. So
that money now goes to the parade?
Goes to the parade. We hold a meat raffle. We
the
get
meat
donations.
raffle was just 2 weeks ago at the Polish Club?
Yep. So
so if
we're
people
lucky.
wanted to donate, they can donate to the Abington St. Patrick's Day Parade and mail a check to you, care of you, at 645 Washington Street in Abington.
Right.
And there's also a website, Abington St. Patrick's Day Parade. Is that correct? And it's all one word, Abington St. Patrick's Day Parade, no spaces, .org. And you can go on there and find out more information. And hopefully you can make a donation. Hopefully you can be there next Sunday.
Right.
So, thank
Wear
you,
your
Jim.
green.
Wear your green. So, thank you, Jack, for that information. A little segment I like to do with all my guests. It's a silly little segment, but I think it's fun. I'll ask you 2 things, and you pick one, okay? First one is Patriots or Red Sox?
Red Sox.
Steak or seafood?
Steak.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Do you have a dog?
I have a dog, rescue dog, my 4th one.
I have my 2nd rescue dog.
Yep.
They're the best. Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Very good. And if you're going to go away, do you like to drive or fly?
Sometimes either or.
All right. So another segment we like to do is announce events coming up in town. And if you have any events, please let us know. Again, you can email me at alexbazanson@yahoo.com. And obviously one of the events coming up on Sunday, March 17th at 1 p.m. is the St. Patrick's Day Parade. So we hope that you do show up there. Do you have donation buckets on the day of the parade?
No, we do not.
You don't?
No.
But-
Some organizations might.
Okay. Well, we encourage you to send a small donation or a sizable donation to the St. Patrick's Day Parade. One other thing I'd just like you to mention about someone who sent you a donation a couple of years ago that was very moving.
Well, the area of the garage is known as St. Patrick's Square. It was donned that name by the town of Abington at the town meeting probably about 6 years ago. So we were receiving mail to Bailey's Garage or St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee, care of St. Patrick's Square, and naturally the federal government through the post office recognized that and would deliver. Well, about 4 years ago, I received a letter from the Martin Richards Foundation, and it was a $500 donation, and in it, it explained the 500, but it also said on a second note, we have been to Abington many times to watch the parade. It was one of Martin's favorites.
Very nice. So you don't know who you're touching when you do these things, and that's the best part about doing volunteer work. And speaking of volunteer work, on March 24th, 2019, the Hug Foundation, which is my family's charity, will be hosting our annual Bruins alumni hockey game at the Rockland Ice Rink. Tickets are available at hugfoundationma.org and also at the Rockland Ice Rink. Tickets are $15 for adults and $5 for kids 12 and under. This year will feature former Bruins great Ray Bork, Rick Middleton, and many other great Bruins alumni. And between periods, they come out and they shake hands, they sign autographs, and they take pictures. They're very approachable. So I urge you to support our foundation. It's only $15 per person, and all our money that we raise goes back into the community. We don't take any salaries. We don't pay rent. We pay mailing expenses, and that's about all. Everything else goes back to the community. So we urge you to come out and support us on March 24th. And as I said earlier, if you have an idea for a show, please email me at alexbazanton@yahoo.com. And if you'd like to produce your own show or be a volunteer at Abington Community Access, please reach out to Justin at abingtoncam.org. This is your studio. This studio belongs to the people of Abington, and we urge you to get involved and use it. It's free to use. Come on down here and do your own show. And that concludes this episode of In and Around Abington. Thank you to my guest, Jack Bailey, and thank you all for watching. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.